hired 2 hookers and had full-on fucking hookers came in, like full porno. We filmed full fucking porno, and we included that in the episode, you know. And the notes came back from standards and practices like, please, like, that you have to take out the, you know, the
cocksucking,
the polar bear getting his dick sucked, like the whole thing, and yeah, and there was a little bit of fucking hooker action in that one, you know, and I'm not necessarily that stoked about it, but there was we went to like a whorehouse, brought this hooker back to the hotel, right? Did like a whole thing. And then and I don't think I ever could even have sex with a hooker without like snuggling after. I want to like snuggle and something, you know. I like, oh, no, just stay with me. I want to like, you know, cuddle and stuff. And in the morning, this hooker, she just tells me like how much I owe her.
Right.
And I'm like, that's fucking outrageous. There's no fucking way. I was like, basically, I don't care if your fucking pimp wants to kick my ass and fucking kill me. I'm not paying that fucking much.
It was that much? How much was it?
I forget. It was so long ago. But yeah, I was outraged.
So was it negotiated beforehand?
It just wasn't in that case. I remember clearly. I was like, you want that much? And I said, I'll give you this much, and that's how much you get.
Whoa.
Period. And we came out, right, like, you know, I got to go film, and walking through the lobby, Knoxville is down there having breakfast. This hooker comes walking by Knoxville, and she says, "That's not Steve O, that's Cheapo." Yeah.
Oh.
And, I mean, I was never even that much into like hookers, but you know, in looking back on it, I guess I really fucking kind of had sex with a bunch of hookers because I had this girlfriend, and you know, like I work like a program of recovery. I got to be honest and shit. And I had this girlfriend. She was an English chick, and she says, "Have you ever had sex with a prostitute?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck," you know. And I tell her. Well, like, you know, I never did until I was in England one time, and you know, we did this gumball rally where you race cars with all the rich guys, and you know, they're getting hookers, and they got me one, and you know, I brought her to the hotel, told her the whole story about how I was like, "Can you give me a massage?" And she's giving me a back rub, and this hooker says, "This is one expensive back rub." And I felt like she was making fun of me. And I said, "Oh, fuck it." And I put on some Motley Crue and put on a rubber, and I humped her, okay? You know, I told this story to my girlfriend. She says, I said, "Okay, what, did you, was there any other ones?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck," you know? I'm like, well, in New Zealand, you know, like, there was a massage parlor, and it turned out that they just have sex with you, you know? Like, and it's a joke, you know, it's like I felt like I was having sex with a prostitute, but she was a masseuse. Like, she said, "There's another one," and I'm like, well, there's a time in Indonesia.
Oh, no, so it just kept rolling off?
Yeah, and the thing was that at that exact time, she arranged this trip to go to Cornwall. It's this little surf town in England, because I like collect pictures with, you know, of like different countries where, you know, and I call it my surf passport. And I'm like, I want to get a surfing photo so I can include England. And she says, "I don't know why you're making a surf passport. You should have a fucking hooker passport." Oh. It's so funny too. Like, driving over here, I was like thinking, man, fuck, I'm so nervous about going on you know, Joe Rogan's podcast, because how can I touch the last time? It was so epic. Like, there's never been another interview that I've ever done that I've gotten more feedback. Like, people just being like, "Dude, I fucking heard that." Like, people were like inspired, people who were struggling with substance abuse, and they're like, "Man, like that helped me get sober." Like, I just like, Howard Stern, like, you name it, any interview I've ever done in my life, like, this has been the one that I hear about the most, and that I get the most positive feedback. Fucking grateful to you for that, man.
Well, I'm grateful for you coming on. You can't compare yourself to yourself, though. Don't ever do that.
Hey, I get that.
It'll
but
fuck you over. It'll get you every time.
I get that. I know. I saw that like on Jim Jeffries. the Jim Jeffrey does. I think he even did that on his special. He's like, "Oh, this special isn't as good as my last special." He said that on the special.
Oh, you can't do that.
Right, but that's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna do that too much, but
Got to be in the moment.
Right.
In the moment, Steve O.
Thank you for that, Joe.
You're an in the moment guy.
I'm pretty good about that. But I should say I'm not gonna like get in my head and I'm not gonna trip myself out. But I did want to come in hot, so I just fucking came out with the hooker stories.
That's a good move. It's always you're going from edge of space to Earth isn't flat.
Oh, dude. And Chris Ponti is my Wild Boys co-star guy. I remember at one point saying something to the effect of like, I'm an astronaut, you know. And Ponti has fucking nailed me so hard. It was so fucking funny. He says, you're not a virgin because you go to the edge of the girl's vagina.
That's a good point.
Right. You kind of have to cross the goal line.
What was more dangerous, doing Jackass or doing Wild Boys?
Dude, it had to be Wild Boys.
That's what I think.
1,000 times over, man.
Because I watch Jackass and I go, wow, these guys are so crazy. But I watch Wild Boys and literally my asshole just tightens up.
Dude.
My toes curl. I start clenching my hands together. I don't know how the fuck you guys did it and got away with it.
Right, there's no question, man. Like fucking lions, tigers, bears, venomous reptiles.
Yeah, when that lion climbed a tree and bit your fucking hat.
Here's the thing, right? And here's the thing, and there is a distinction about this. Jackass would completely fade. There's so much integrity in Jackass. And Knoxville, like, would not, like, ever. People say, is the stuff you do real? Fuck yeah, it's real, 100%. And with Wild Boys, there's no... I mean, what you see is it happened, but what we were dishonest about with Wild Boys is like locations. We would pretend that we were in Africa when really they had this fucking in California. There's a company called like Hollywood Animals, right, where they've got like whatever. They've got the fucking lions and the tigers and shit. Now, when we went over to Africa the first time, we brought the zebra suit. Every intention of being on safari, playing around in front of lions. But that just wasn't in the cards. They're like, no, that's not going to happen.
Oh my God, so they'd kill you.
Yeah, we filmed this great whole thing going through the safari in the two-man zebra suit. But the only way we could get the end was to come back to California.
Oh.
And I remember Jay Leno fucking called us out. The first time we went on the Jay Leno show to promote Wild Boys, he says, he came to the dressing room, he says, I watched that lion clip with the two-man zebra suit. And I'm thinking, I've never seen gravel like that, in Africa, on the ground. And he says, the way that the lion went for the zebra head, he said no part of that lion wants that fake zebra head. It just doesn't make sense. And he was so right. He nailed it 100%. He's like, I'm guessing what they did was they rubbed some kind of shit on the zebra head to attract the lion to it. And he just broke it down. The last thing I want to do is be a fucking fan of Jay Leno, but
Jay Leno's a good guy.
Okay.
Okay. He is, I'm telling you, man. He just seems weird because he did the Tonight Show for so long.
Okay. And I'm not trying to, just piggyback on Howard Stern being a Stern fan, but I don't know. I got a weird vibe myself from Jay Leno, but I'll take your word for it. And he impressed the shit out of me with that, calling out that lion bit.
What